What's going on, everybody? It's the Bull Show, aka Aiden, and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about another article, reacting to another article, but this one is going to be about the Reinsdorfs, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, look, we all know that the Reinsdorfs are the owners of the Chicago Bulls, and a lot of people have a lot of criticism towards the Reinsdorfs in relation to the Chicago Bulls. Now, I'm going to try and be as unbiased as possible in the things that I say, because I know a lot of people are just going to go straight to attacking the Reinsdorfs, and look, I think fans rightfully have the right to criticize players, owners, management, whatever you want. Again, we have the right to do that. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's as simple and cut as dry as it's all on the owners. You know, I understand that there is part blame in everything that's wrong with the Chicago Bulls on the ownership. The ownership reflects the decisions on the court. How good or bad we are does reflect on the owners, because they ultimately have the final say. They ultimately make the most decisions. They are the guys that are responsible for the Chicago Bulls. So if the players suck, that is partly on the owners. If the coaching staff sucks, that's partly on the owners. If the, I guess, front office is not doing their job correctly, it's part of the owners. They ultimately have the final say, and it reflects on them. All decisions made reflects on them in some way, form, or fashion. But there's some quotes there that I feel like is important to discuss and kind of go to the defense of the Reinsdorfs, but at the same time, not go to the defense of the Reinsdorfs. And that's kind of what I want to bring to your attention here. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and whether or not you believe the Reinsdorfs will be a good, I guess, ownership, or the family in general would be good owners for the Chicago Bulls in the future. And the big question here, if we have a title contending team at some point in our lifetime, do you think the Reinsdorfs will actually go into the luxury tax? Because that is the quotes that are going out there. It's been out there for a long time. If the Reinsdorfs find this team as a contending team, they will go into the luxury tax. It's part of the NBA culture that they call it. So yeah, that's the question that I have for you guys today. One of the biggest things that actually came out from a quote from the Reinsdorfs, at least, is that sports is a business of failure, but the fact that you finish second or third or fourth, it doesn't mean you had a bad year. They went on to continue to say, I think it's an important thing for fans is, while they want to win championships, they want to know that when they get down to the last month of the season, you still have a shot. You're still playing meaningful games. If you can do that consistently, you'll make the fans happy. And again, that's a big quote to really make in the situation, but I don't think he's necessarily wrong. I think Bulls fans want a team that's going to compete. It's as simple as that. We want what we had 2 seasons ago when Lonzo Ball was healthy. We want what we had in the 90s. We want what we had when we had that D-Rose team. A team that constantly competes every single season. Even if players are hurt, even if players miss time, you still have a team that's willing to compete. I feel like that's what Bulls fans really want. We want to be talked about as the upper echelon in the Eastern Conference, and that will allow fans to be consistently happy. Of course it will be, but of course at that level as well, by the time you have consistency in competing, you obviously want to be a championship team as well. I don't think competing, for example, being 4th every season, you know, it might make Bulls fans happy in the sense that we're not tanking and we're not necessarily trash, but you do obviously want to compete for a championship as well. So there needs to be a faith in there that while we're competing consistently every single season, we're competing knowing that there is a chance for a championship for us. For example, Milwaukee, who got eliminated in the first round this season, you know, they lost to the 8th seed and stuff like that. I don't think Milwaukee are pressing the panic button and saying trade everybody and let's start again because of that situation, because they know they're a team every single season. They have a chance at a championship and they can compete for championship glory, even if they've had a dreadful playoff series or dreadful playoff moments at this time. I think that's an easy example to bring. If you're in the playoffs for 5 straight seasons, 4th seed every single season, you get eliminated in the second round every single season, at some point Bulls fans are not going to be happy with that. So yeah, consistently competing is fine. It will make Bulls fans for the majority happy, but then you got to take the next level once you start competing, and that's why Bulls fans are upset now. We finished in the 6th seed. We had the 1st seed on lock for a long time in the 2 seasons ago, and then this season we had that massive drop off. Again, not all on the Reinsdorfs, but that's what happened with the Chicago Bulls team. So Bulls fans are not happy because we had an expectation and it was not delivered. Moving into some of the other quotes that was brought in, there was actually a tweet that I wanted to bring to your attention, and again, I will put it on the screen. The article that I'm reading it from is heavy. That's the article name, or at least the publicization. I don't know how to say it. Anyway, the Chicago Bulls are there are 6 teams that have spent less than the Chicago Bulls. And again, I will put the photo there. That's interesting, and at the same time, I'm not surprised. Look, we are known for having cheap owners. That's what we are known for. Again, to defend the Reinsdorfs and saying, yeah, of course, competing consistently will put Bulls fans in the seats and will help celebrate and cheer the team. We all know that the Bulls ownership is cheap. It has been cheap for a long time. And again, only one season they've went into the luxury tax since the luxury tax era has begun. Only once. Now, you could say we didn't have any contending teams. Fair enough. If that's your argument, understandable. But at the same time, the teams that we thought could be contending, if you took the next step, we didn't take that next step. And that's my worry. And again, I'll get to that later on in the video. But very, very interesting stuff there. You move into some of the other quotes, and there's one quote that I really wanted to bring to your attention. Basically, continue the talk, saying, the first week I was in sports, somebody said to me, if you listen to the fans, you'll soon be sitting with the fans. You can't allow your decisions to be guided by emotion of what you think people want. At the same time, you have to consider what fans are thinking, or they're not going to buy your tickets. This is where I agree and disagree with, obviously, what is said here, because look, you can't listen to every fan in the Chicago Bulls fan base. You can't, because again, we are not NBA executives. We are not decision makers. We're not general managers. We're not development staff. We don't have a major role in the Chicago Bulls and in the NBA in general. It's as simple as that. Bulls fans can say what they like, but 99% of Bulls fans will want something different from each other. I think the main goal is the same. We want to compete for a championship. We want a team to be proud of. But at the same time, how we get there, there's probably 1,000 different ways Bulls fans can think of to get where we want to get to. So you can't listen to all of them, because at the same time, you know, it's win if you do, lose if you do as well. You know, you might win some Bulls fans over, you might lose some Bulls fans with the decisions that you make as well. It really is as simple as that. Every single decision we have made has had some controversy. Signing Lonzo Ball, for some people, it's still a wait-and-see approach. For other people, it's trade now, a huge controversy. Some people never rated Lonzo Ball to begin with. Patrick Williams, superstar, bench player, two-way player, doesn't matter. Controversy. Kobe White, controversy. You know, the teams with D Rose and all of them. You know, why are we playing D Rose in the final seconds of a game that we've already won? Controversy. There's controversy in any decision from top to bottom. So you can't make all Bulls fans happy. I agree with that. And to give you an example, I've talked recently about the Bulls needing a point guard. I think that's a very broad analysis. You have to go deeper. What point guard do we need? Why do we need a point guard? How can we get the point guard with that amount of money? Can it be from the draft? Again, is this player good for the organization? Does he have the right mentality to play for this team? You know, these are all questions and decisions that have to be made. And at the end of the day, Bulls fans can't always get it right. So I agree. You can't listen to every Bulls fan, and I include myself in that. I know I make YouTube videos, but again, my opinion doesn't mean much compared to anybody else's. It's just that mine is going to be uploaded to YouTube and others won't be, or even some that will be. So that's great for them, and for those people that don't make those YouTube videos, your opinion is still very much valid. But listening to every single Bulls fan is just impossible. So I agree with that. You shouldn't be listening to every Bulls fan, but what I don't agree with is that if you don't consider what the fans are thinking, they're not going to buy your tickets. I think that's been disproven a long time ago. I mean, Bulls fans, look, Chicago fans in general, you know, I'm not from Chicago. I can't say this, and I guess I can say this, and Chicago fans will probably back me up. From my understanding of America and sports in America, there are a few loyal fan bases that will support their team through thick and thin. And I think Chicago fans are one of them. And I'm talking about all of their teams. I think they have an American football team. They have a hockey team. They always have a basketball team. Whatever the case may be, Chicago fans are extremely loyal to their sports. There are other cities like Philadelphia that are very much known for that. You know, New York, like love them or hate them, they're probably a team that, I guess, a fan base that is known for that. They are very loyal towards their fan bases. And when they are criticizing or when they're upset with their fan bases, they still rock up to games. That's what Bulls fans are, in my opinion. I think if you look through most of the seasons, we have one of the best attendance bases in the NBA. And we've been tanking for a long time. You know, we've only started getting good 2 seasons ago. We're not even good this season. So we've done well in attendance. Bulls fans are still buying tickets and they're still sitting in those seats. So the Rangers, in my opinion, because of that, they're probably not getting the right message. They're probably thinking to themselves, we can suck, we can win, doesn't matter. Bulls fans are going to be there. So they're not going to take desperation attempts, or they're not going to take risks to, I guess, get this team better. They're not going to make those decisions because they probably feel like they don't need to make those decisions because their profit margins are still coming in and they're still going to be making a whole lot of money with the partners that they have, as well as with attendance records and stuff like that. Simple as that. But the last thing I want to talk about, going into the luxury tax. I think Michael Reinsdorf, when he was running the Bulls, basically said he would sign off on going into the luxury tax for a title contending team. Here's the question that I have, right? Because, look, we all are very much aware the Bulls didn't go into the luxury tax this season. We can all, you know, it's not breaking news. The Bulls ownership did not go into the luxury tax this season. And to be fair, in hindsight, it was probably the right decision because the Bulls sucked this season. Spending and going into the luxury tax for a different backup center probably wouldn't have changed much in terms of where our record was. We just weren't good enough this season. Regardless of what anybody says, we were not good enough and we shouldn't have went into the luxury tax. But again, you take hindsight away from it, as I said before. You look at where we were 2 seasons ago. We were first for a lot of that season. Lonzo Ball got injured, and then at the end of the day, we went to the 6th seed, and we got eliminated in the first round. But by that off-season, there were still a lot of people that were believing Lonzo Ball would come back between December and January. That was the news being reported at that time. The Bulls signed Andre Drummond, which a lot of people really liked that signing. The Bulls signed Goran Dragic, a bit of a questionable signing, I think, for many people. Free agency was a bit of a bust in many ways. You know, we're going for Gallinari. He went to Boston. We probably dodged a bullet there. But you know, we re-signed Derek Jones Jr., we re-signed Zach LaVine, but we didn't do anything major in free agency. Okay, so we have the same team as we did 2 seasons ago. You expect us to be around the same mark, the 6th seed and stuff like that. But some Bulls fans felt like we were contenders. And they were very upset when we didn't go into the luxury tax in free agency because they felt like the Bulls were contenders. So that statement right there, for some Bulls fans, was not true. Because this team felt like a contending team with everybody healthy. And we were expecting this team to be healthy by midway through the season. The Bulls didn't go into the luxury tax. So my question is, again, I've already asked it. When that time comes, when Bulls fans believe there is a contender on their hands, will the ownership actually follow suit with that quote? Will they go into the luxury tax for a contending team? I feel like there are 2 ways to approach it. One, sometimes you need to spend into the luxury tax to get to a contending team. It's not necessarily, okay, you're contending now without the luxury tax. Let's go spend into the luxury tax to ensure you're contending. It could be, you know, there's one superstar that we need to give the max to, for example. We know with him he's going to contend. We're going to contend. But we're not contending now. Are you going to go into the luxury tax then? Because we're not contending, are we? But if you get that player, we will be contending. That's a question. And again, I don't know. Bulls fans don't have that belief that the ownership will be able to do that. So that's when they have to deliver. If that's your statement, fair enough. You don't want to compete. You don't want to go into the luxury tax if you're not competing. Honestly, that's smart. It is. Don't go into the luxury tax just for the sake of it to make Bulls fans happy. For example, next season, I don't see us going into the luxury tax because we finished 10th. And Lonzo Ball is not going to come back for most of the season. So I don't see the Bulls going into the luxury tax this season. I don't. It wouldn't make sense. If they truly live by that quote, we're not contending next season, most likely. Even we might try to take steps towards it, but we're not probably going to win a championship next season. We're not going to be contending for one next season, most likely. So going into the luxury tax, it's probably out of the realms of possibility for us. But one day, we might have a contending team, or we might be one player away from truly contending in the NBA. Will the Bulls pull the trigger? I honestly don't believe they will. I believe it's all talk at the moment that, yeah, we'll go into the luxury tax if we have a contending team. But the way that we view a contending team and the way that they view a contending team will be very, very different. So I don't think they'll pull the trigger, in all honesty. I don't think you'll see the Bulls go into the luxury tax for a long time. Like, we have to be in an NBA Finals at one point just for the Bulls to go into the luxury tax in my eyes. If the Bulls can make an NBA Finals in one season, the next season I think they'll go into the luxury tax. But until that happens, I don't expect the Bulls to go into the luxury tax ever. I think they're going to stick with what they know. That's being cheap. That's trying to get things done the cheap way and hoping that we could develop a superstar like Michael Jordan that will come in and help save the franchise. That's what I think will end up happening. But only time will tell. So, with that being said, time is up on this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you in the next Chicago Bulls video. Have a wonderful and safe day. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.